is with us for this hour. And Patrick, it is great to see you as always. And we'll talk about Aaron Rodgers, your closest personal friend, in just a moment. But let's start with Brady. 10th Super Bowl. What words, Pat, do we use to describe what he has done here?
Yeah, it's legendary. It's iconic, much like the three men I'm sharing the screen with right now. It is great to be back right now on Get Up. I appreciate you all here on this beautiful Overreaction Monday after Championship Sunday. I think my rookie year, okay, I got drafted to a team that basically was a buzzsaw. Okay, we went undefeated until we chose not to in week 15, week 16. We lost 2 games. Then we get to the playoffs and we end up going to the Super Bowl to play against the New Orleans Saints. And we all know how that ended. Okay, Drew Brees and his baby are up there on the stage and there's confetti falling. And I walked into the most miserable locker room I've ever seen in my entire life. And that was my rookie year. I was 22 years old. I figured we'd be back next year. I went in there into the locker room, tried to talk to a couple guys. Hey, not that big of a deal. We'll just run this thing back next year. That is not what happens unless you're Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes and City Chiefs. 10 appearances in the Super Bowl, 10 of his 21. I think that's like a 47-point-something percentage of his career. He ends up in the Super Bowl. That's a higher percentage than Steph Curry shoots from 3. It is an unbelievable thing we're getting a chance to watch, and it isn't until it's all said and done that we give people flowers and everything like that. But as soon as Tom Brady dropped into that Buccaneers building, I think everybody that knew football knew that everything was going to get heightened, everything was going to get better. And here he is in his first year in the NFC as the NFC champion. And now he's taking a squad that looked lost just 1 year ago to the biggest game of all time. Tom Brady is an icon. He's a legend. He's a GOAT for a reason. And I'm just thankful to be alive to get a chance to watch his avocado ice cream eating ass do what he does.
The Bucs hadn't been in the playoffs in 13 years. And Dan, you made the point earlier. It's not even worth comparing him to other quarterbacks now, right? We compare him to ghosts and the greatest legends in the history of American sports.
Yeah, absolutely. He has transcended, hey, is Tom Brady the greatest quarterback or greatest football player ever? If for anybody that did not have that thought process, it's over. It's done. It's written in stone. He's now into, and don't forget, Jordan won 6, but they were all in Chicago, right? Like, Tom Brady's got the chance to now leave teams, leave the greatest coach ever, leave the conference that he plays in, and to go win another one. That's why he is in the Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Babe Ruth conversation. And like Pat makes a really interesting point, really good point of him doing 10 out of 21 and whatnot. But the reality of like, it's important for everyone to remember the backstory of the Buccaneers. This is a team that hadn't been to the playoffs in 13 years. They're the worst organization when it comes to winning percentage in the history of the NFL. There was no offseason. Everything was stacked against them. It took him 5 months, and he took them to the Super Bowl.
Okay, so let me leave that there for the moment because there's a ton of Brady to get into, and hopefully we'll get RC signal back in just a moment because really most of the conversation coming out of this game stemmed from 2 different coaching decisions, 2 different moments for the Green Bay Packers. Let's start with kicking the field goal at the end of the game. Here was Matt LaFleur.
We essentially had 4 timeouts with the 2-minute warning, and you know, we knew we needed to get a stop, and I thought we were going to have a stop there at the end, but we got called for PI. That didn't work out.
Well, I didn't have a decision on that one. Yeah, that wasn't my decision, but I understand the thinking above 2 minutes with all of our timeouts, but yeah, that wasn't my decision.
Boy, the disappointment and the frustration palpable. Ryan Clark, what is your reaction to the decision to kick the field goal?
I'd have to imagine this is how Will Smith felt when Carlton stole the ball from him and threw it over the goal from Bel Air Prep when he was supposed to be taking the last shot. When you're Aaron Rodgers and you've brought your team to this point, you've had an MVP season, you're 9 yards away from getting into the end zone, you have a 4th down, you think that you can make it. You feel like you have earned that opportunity to get that chance. And Matt LaFleur stole that from him. And that's what happened. He stole it from him. The same way that Achilles wouldn't let The Rock steal his joy or steal his moment when he was about to kill Hector. That's what Matt LaFleur did to Aaron Rodgers. And when you get to that point, you got to have the same thing that Adam Schefter said that Aaron Rodgers is going to have when he forces his way out of here. The same things that Bruce Arians had when he went for it on 4th and 3, when he threw a bomb to Scotty Miller with 6 seconds. You have to know it is winning time. And Matt LaFleur didn't show he had the gumption. He didn't show that he had the guts. And that's why he's home watching now.
And so the story of the game is that, again, they kicked a field goal and Aaron Rodgers never got back on the field. Pat McAfee, what'd you think of the decision?
Yeah, it was obvious. I'm the biggest field goal guy on earth. All right, let's get some points on the board, especially when it's
Right.
over Fox. Crosby, let's go ahead and do that. But that late in the game, if you kick a field goal, you're still going to need a touchdown. And listen, LaFleur's offense in the second year here, alongside Aaron Rodgers and the boys, has obviously flourished. I mean, 40-some touchdowns, less than 6 picks on the season, an MVP-like career. So he's obviously done some good things on the offensive side of the ball. But whenever you talk about making in-game adjustments or game decisions, one of them, going for it here on 4th down, whenever you're down 8 with 2 minutes left and you have the guy on your team in Aaron Rodgers. Now, granted, he's already thrown for 3 touchdowns. He only has 1 interception. That was a suspect call that could have been made and everything like that. A lot of people talking about him running. He had been pressured 22 times, sacked. I think he saw the corner and also saw the guy behind you. But how about just leaving Billy Turner on an island all night with Pierre Paul? I mean, there was a lot of things that we could have kind of talked about in the moment, although the 4th down call going for the field goal is the one that we're going to eventually land on, of how asinine it was. But you're talking about 3 times out of 115 different situations that are like that. Down 4-8 with about 2 minutes left. Whenever you have 4th down inside the 10, only 3 people have ever not gone for it. The fact that he chose not to, I think he kind of spits in Aaron Rodgers' face. Now, I don't think LaFleur meant to, but with the way the whole thing turned out, hindsight's 50-50. Cam Newton said that. We're obviously going to judge it looking back. That should not have been made, and I think we all understand that here this morning.
I have to leave it there for the moment on this, but we will.
I think puts a lot of cool things in perspective. Anytime you're the first time doing something, it's usually a pretty good thing.
Tom's a GOAT. Last year, I think we ended 7-9, and right now we're headed to the Super Bowl. And he's probably the biggest reason we are where we are.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers had not been to the playoffs in 13 seasons. Tom Brady shows up, and here they are in the Super Bowl. Dan Orlovsky, how in the world do we, I think Dan may be frozen. Dan, do I have you? If I have you, Dan, how do we, he's frozen. Okay, no, he's good. Okay, Dan Orlovsky, how do we put into words, if indeed I have you, how do we put into words the story that Tom Brady is writing here?
Yeah, for a guy that has the biggest and longest list of incredible accomplishments, Greeny, this one tops it. Yesterday's game for Tom Brady reminded me going back to March, no preseason games, and then takes him to the Super Bowl. He's one of the greatest athletes ever.
Indisputable, I think. And RC, maybe a testament to it is he didn't have a great day yesterday, but there was something about his presence, it feels to me, that is the reason they are where they are.
We'll get to analyzing what his play is, and I'm sure my dog Dom is going to do it in a second, so I don't even have to get to the mistakes that he made. But it's also about the journey, right? Right now, we're talking about yesterday. We're going to look at his play from yesterday, but getting to yesterday is what Tom Brady is about. Tom Brady is now like a hooper. Tom Brady is like when KD goes to a team and you say, you know what, they can win a championship. LeBron James changes conference, and now the Los Angeles Lakers become champions. That's who Tom Brady is. He's a force multiplier. He makes everyone better, and yesterday we saw that. Did Todd Bowles have a lot to do with what happened yesterday? Absolutely. But it's the TB12 that's most important to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' success as a whole.
Yeah, there's so much to get to with the Packers side of this. But, Nick, just a thought, because I know there's so much here, and obviously Brady is the headline.
I mean, Tom Brady did a great job rushing the passer yesterday and covering guys. He called a great game on the defensive side of the ball. It was fantastic. I'm here for all the Tom Brady hagiography that we can indulge in. But let's be real. Yesterday, he was spotty, just like
Rodgers is not. And his coach, Matt LaFleur, had a lot of explanations to offer afterwards, particularly about kicking that field goal at the very end of the game. Here's what he said.
We essentially had 4 timeouts with the 2-minute warning. And, you know, we knew we needed to get a stop. And I thought we were going to have a stop there at the end, but, you know, we got called for the PI. And it didn't work out.
Well, I didn't have a decision on that one. Yeah, that wasn't my decision. I thought maybe we're going to have 4 chances to go.
So you can feel the frustration from Aaron Rodgers, and it is understandable. Ryan Clark, let's just start with that decision to kick the field goal on the 4th down where they did. What do you think?
You lost the game. You played scared. You had the best player in football, at least this year, and you didn't give him an opportunity to win the game. Listen, if you're in a rap battle and you're a D12, you're not going to send Bizarre out for the biggest rap battle. You're going to send out Eminem. You took Eminem off the field and you put Bizarre out there. You are 9 yards away from the end zone. The reason that you are trailing is that BA trusted Tom Brady with 13 seconds in the second quarter and said, you know what, we're going to go for it on 4th down and possibly give you the ball at midfield. We're going to throw this bomb into the end zone and give Scotty Miller a chance to burn Kevin King for the 76th time yesterday. Give Aaron Rodgers the opportunity to win the game. Don't take it from him. Don't put it on people that haven't shown up for you the entire day. And that's what Matt LaFleur did. And when you make decisions like that, you sit at home and you get to think about those decisions. You get to dwell in those decisions because you will not be playing in the Super Bowl. And that's it.
Listen, you have to lose that game because Aaron Rodgers, the MVP and the Hall of Famer, is not good enough. That's why you have to lose that game in that moment. So that's the wrong decision. That being said, I want to explain why it is such a brutally difficult decision for Matt LaFleur. Because I've seen a lot of people like, this is the dumbest decision I've ever seen. Fireable offense. Slow down. Okay, 4th and goal from the 9-yard line is almost it's really difficult. 4th and goal situation. But at the end of the day, when Matt LaFleur says, when you do something and it doesn't work out, you regret it. I don't know if he would have those same feelings if he went for it. It didn't work out. I don't think he would regret it the same way as he does kicking that.
We wouldn't talk about it like this either.
That's